I believe we're live. Hello, how is everyone doing? It's me, live once again for some LEC matchups. We're going into the spring finals. G2 Fnatic, the best of 5 on full display as usual. So let me just go over here. Move this out of there. And I believe we're on the right screen, he says. Webcam in top, cool. Let's go. Draft already beginning. We'll go back to the beginning. Hopefully we can find it bang on when the draft begins. So, in we go. G2 on blue, Fnatic on red. What do we have to think about ban-wise? Well, Nautilus being a big pick for these teams. Asol is also a big pick. You've then got Azir in the counter trade, but Azir's kind of fallen out of prio for some mid laners or most. But Asol, Nautilus, Vi, also big picks. I think here, based on this early game, yeah. G2 flex into the Rek'Sai. Zac, up and available for Oscar winning. Sort of his playstyle pick into that matchup. I think what we'll see here. But then you look at the ADCs. Up and available, Varus takes prio. Varus not could be a decent first one too, but Sejuani also is up and available. However, they're gonna continue to just get blind pick outers. G2 have the Jinx here, and then not into Zac. Maybe not the best. Rel banned out, so you probably are looking for a bit of heavy engage. Yeah, I'm just going to go for Tristana. Kind of interesting. Mid lane pick for Caps this early. But again, it's a flex. Can go into the bot lane. So, not going to be Jinx. It's going to be not maybe here. Or Sion. The G2 special. So that kind of reveals a lot about G2's squad right now. Because it's going to be either, well, Sion top. Yikes getting the Rek'Sai. This Triss can go between lanes. So, ban-wise, you're looking at the bot lane entirely if you're Fnatic. So, you're probably going to be looking at securing bans maybe towards Caps if you think that Tristan's going to go down there like Asol. But I think you ban Jinx here, you ban Xayah if you're Fnatic, or you ban Rakan out. Asol's going to be removed, so they're expecting this Triss to actually go to the bot side. And Caps rep it in the mid lane. Sorry. Not rep it in the mid lane. Poppy comes through, leads me to believe that G2 will look to go Rakan. Based off that. Excuse me. But Talia, so yeah, double banning out Caps kind of makes you want to play Trist in the mid lane more than anything, and then secure what, an AP bot lane matchup. Kind of hard to do. I mean, you've got Karthus technically. Kaiser is up and available. I think that wouldn't be too terrible, but realistically speaking, not getting banned out here kind of forces like Rakan on 4-4 Fnatic. Or they go give that over to G2 on 4. But engage-wise, there isn't much options for G2. The Xin Zhao comes through, so Fnatic aren't revealing much with that pick. And it gives them counter pick on support, which is huge. I think if G2 are smart, they lock in Rakan here to get the guaranteed engage, a bit of peel with the quickness. But Fnatic, with what G2 have drafted so far, quite close range. So, as a whole, you probably look to lock into Renata if you're Fnatic. So, yeah, Vigar's nice. You get a bit of scaling. Puts Hansama on that Tristana, as kind of expected by Fnatic. And Lulu, I mean, Triss Lulu is interesting because this G2 draft does lack hard engage, unless you have Sion running at someone, Rek'Sai tunneling in trying to get onto them. But as a whole, the draft does lack heavy engage, and Fnatic, they've got some engage in their own right with the Zac and the Xingqiao. Renata's just perfect with dealing with the champs that just want to run at you and get in, because she just peels so heavily for it. So, as a whole, I love this pick for Fnatic, because it just denies everything that G2 kind of wants to do. So, into arguably the easiest of the first games, I think. And yeah, draft-wise, I think Fnatic have the better of the two drafts. It's just easier to execute than what G2 have. You're guaranteed engage, and you're guaranteed playmaking. 1 second while I go calm my dogs down. So yeah, back I am. So hard to chase a dog. He likes stealing socks. Anyway, looking at the starts, kind of a standard fan, standard-ish fan. I'm interested to see if any deep wards come through. Looking at the positioning from Noah, he's looking to probably put a ward in here. In the brush. But yeah, other than that, it's probably going to be a standard invade, maybe. It's not even looking like there's going to be an invade. Mickey actually is going to go for the same pathing he did in the BDS series in Game 1, where he got caught out, just standing up there. And G2 are lane swapping, so you look at the matchup as a whole, and I think Fnatic are well aware the lane swap has happened. Due to Oscarinian's position, he is just ensuring that his tops, or Razork's top camps, don't get stolen. And he's actually going for an invade on his own right, which is kind of an interesting setup. It means that G2 can't necessarily... Well, Yike's going to be put behind. This level 1 play with the Zac, it's actually huge. He'll start E and go for a gank onto Broken Blade. Because it's a 3-man overlap. And yeah, now it's going to be a 4-man. Broken Blade's dead. He should have realistically pathed away from the minions. And yes, you're losing out on gold and XP. But you're in zombie form. You give over 300 gold outright to them. The trade on the other side is plating into a weaker bot side overall. Triss Lulu compared to Renata Varus just does not have the same power. And already, because the waves being corralled here, Oscar Renin is still technically farming and getting XP. Broken Blade is not. And while, yeah, it's kind of split XP, you are still equaling out the trades, all things considered. Yes, the Sion is getting put behind, but usually we say Sion doesn't really care about farming and he's already flashed. He's dead again. This is a sus play, all things considered. Zac Passage gets procced. Zac won't die. And yeah. Back to proxy farming for Fnatic. The big and broken... Can we just point out how bad this is for him? This is going to be 3 deaths in the space of a minute. This is just inting. Outright inting from Broken Blade. And I get the whole premise of the Sion is go zombie form if you get dove and farm. But you don't burn flash. You don't burn TP. Like... This is just well executed by Fnatic, obviously, with Oscar Renin's pathing. From starting on top side, check that there's no invade onto the jungle, then path to bot, and get that. Now, admittedly, what we did see was Yike get some counter jungling done. He solo camps because Broken Blade bought time. But on the other side of things, it's not that much of a lead that Yike's going to have. And realistically speaking, the kill's going to make up for the loss of CS for Razor. So as a whole, it's huge. Now, what G2 didn't get in this play was vision. That's one big thing that they've lost out on. And as we're starting to see, they're in a bit of a weird state. Because obviously, yeah, this was in behind Broken Blade. And he's just killed. Zombie form gonna lose CS as well. It's not BNA. He hasn't got TP, hasn't got flash. More minions are gonna crash. And on the other side of things, Oscar Renin's just sitting content with his 1 kill and 2 assists. He hasn't died. He hasn't got the same amount of CS, but still up 200 gold over his counterpart. And this is an issue Broken Blade now is experiencing with the Sion being quite far behind his counterpart. And sure, Hands gets first turret blood, but the issue is that gold differentiation of 83 for a full turret kill is not that good. And what we're seeing now, Hands has TP. So now G2 can start to match the spot lane, but bear in mind, they're still quite far behind. Hands is not going to get the kill. In fact, he's going to be traded back because Renata is too powerful. Now, Yike will trade one back, but here's the issue. Xin Zhao's early trading versus a Rek'Sai is a lot more favourable. So, Caps is forced into the play to respond, and he gets himself a kill. This is the only winning point of this matchup for G2, is Caps. The fact that he is such a heavy outscaling champion compared to everyone else in this game. I guess Sign is a heavy outscaler as well with the Soul Furnace. But personally, I think the position G2 find themselves in is a bad one. A very bad one for the comp they have. As here, this play is just easy for Fnatic. The bot lane win out as Hans Hammer goes aggressive. Hans thinks that they haven't spent up and got any items, but the issue is the bailout is such a powerful tool. And the little items and gold that Noah does have at this stage is enough to kill off Hans Sama. So G2, realistically speaking, I'm also in a bad position. There we go. Woo. But as a whole, G2 are in such a bad position in this game, and they're kind of hoping that Caps can kind of bring them back in, even though he is only ahead by, what, 300 gold? 300 gold. Not necessarily the most of a lead, but 75 CS, you're hoping that he's AP farming them up. The other issue is he's fallen behind in CS on Humanoid, because Veigar farming sucks early compared to Azir's farming. Just the Sand Soldiers does too much in terms of clearing a wave compared to Veigar poking minions, executing them off with the Q to get more AP and more damage in the late game. And we'll kind of watch it here. Just the fact they can get pushed up and clear the back line as well as the front line. It's just really hard for Caps to really secure perfect farm. And he's also spending a bit of time, as we just saw there, trying to get the Qs, trying to get the extra AP, so that when it comes to late game fighting, he can execute off a carry. Now, granted, the big caveat to the execute is this Renata, who can put a bailout onto whichever target G2 tried to execute. But yeah, I understand G2's comp here. It's a siege comp that wants to play tempo, but how can you play tempo when Fnatic are ahead and you're in an awkward state where your ADC you farmed so many plates into is behind, died in a 2v2 to the opposition as bot side, Broken Blade, Force Wall out, hostile takeover, does its job, Mickey nowhere to run. Yeah, that's just a clean 4-man play to the bot side. And the caveat is obviously giving plates and gold over to Caps, but in the long run, looking at it, that's more beneficial to Fnatic because you get to continue having Noah in a strong place. He can push this wave out with Mickey not being there. Top side, Oscarinin got more gold into Broken Blade, so that's always beneficial. And the follow-up play can come through like this. Humanoid comes in, he's got an Emperor's Divide if he needs to, but he gets a pick-up wave. Noah gets a reset that he's been needing because he's low on mana, and was obviously picking up the kills there. So yeah, G2 lose out on the play, I guess. On the other side, they do get full Void Grubbies, 6 in total, which will benefit the siege if Tristana gets to. But for right now, it's not that beneficial considering she's playing behind her tower and Fnatic are keeping her behind. And I guess we talk about vision as Cabs has responded. 1, 2, 3 awards in that brush. Fnatic trying to force waves up in terms of that vision as they're pushing them forward, trying to keep G2 back, but this is a 3-man dive. Caps is isolated in the tower, drops the baby cage, result force flash, TP comes through. So it's 2 TPs for 1 flash out of Razork. That's it. I guess that's worth it for G2, but this is not. Broken Blade isolated. Caps will get a trade back. And this is what G2 were playing for. Was the Caps as Hans gets an execute. Oh boy. Plus the Q executes there for Caps. He's getting powerful now. 3-0 Veigar certainly is a threat. I think Fnatic as a whole overstayed the play. But now this is where the Void Grubs come into effect. Hands gets ease of pressure onto this mid tower. That's going to open up some vision for G2. Allow this Veigar to play a bit better. But as a whole, as this game's going to go on, objectives are going to be a lot harder for G2 to contest. Because they don't have hard engage. And now Caps is in a bad place where he's overstepped. Almost dies. As Mickey's going to be caught out. He's dead. No polymorph, no flash at the time. Now Fnatic can continue to press forward. Caps very low, so he needs to play it safe. He is G2's gold lead at this stage of the game. It's going to get shrunk a little bit though with Humanoid securing the tower, as well as the fact that Razork, because G2 got pushed out the bot side, Razork's able to secure his second Drake of the game. Ocean Soul on the table as well. And where are we going? Okay, so 1v1 kill. It's a good flash out from Hands. Buster shot. Clean. Noah didn't flash, which is kind of bad. He should have really flashed away. But he dies. He probably would have been jumped on either way by Hands. Don't know if he had rocket jump available at the time. Anyway. Back on live, G2 yet again playing for the tower crushing capabilities of Herald. The siege potential this provides. I'm interested to see if Fnatic step up. They're not looking to. So Yike secures another Void objective to go alongside his Rek'Sai, who's from the Void. The Renata's trapped in the baby cage, but she's just flashing forward. She knows she can play this aggressive. And Caps is shut down. Where's the rest of G2? BB's in the bot lane. Mickey's coming up. So yeah, no G2 to back up Caps there, and it's a really well executed play by Jun to just flash in after landing the handshake. Once the handshake's on a Caps, he's got nowhere really to go. So once also takeover comes out, it's easy execution, perfect play, and now that Veigar, who had a lead, slowly losing control of said lead. Also, I want to point out how useless this Lulu is right now. No completed items. Presumably going for Shrelia's or Locket first. Maybe Mikhail's. Either way, it's kind of useless. As a whole, as a champion for the first 16 minutes of this game. And I dare say for the rest of it, because what is this Lulu's goal? Who is she essentially there to go after? Because, yeah, it helps the Triss siege, and I get G2 kind of want to play this split push style, but you've only got one split pusher, realistically, that can siege well in this Tristana. This Lulu doesn't necessarily provide much in the team fights in keeping it alive, other than what? A polymorph and then the wild growth. So, realistically speaking, it's not very useful. And I would much rather have liked to have seen some hard engage to get onto Noah. Some way of just stopping him from playing the game. Because he can just sit back, farm, And I mean, he's keeping up in farm with this Triss. He's been sieging most of the game, just not really dealing with champions. And yeah, I'm interested on this play because Fnatic might wrap around, go for a counterpunch. 4 members of G2 are here, 3 from Fnatic coming to respond. Mid lane though will fall in favor of Fnatic as initial fight going to come through. A lot of damage put down. That's the execute. Down goes Noah. Cap secures it. It's a 1-for-1 trade though as Razor kills off Yike. Broken Blade's ult goes wide. In fact, he's kind of doing nothing here in that position. Hands is going to be able to kill off Humanoid, and the continuation of the play could come through. Fnatic going to give over another kill. Razor going to fall. You have to feel here. It's another shutdown goes over to Hans Sama. G2 fight back. Finding the kills, but I don't know. That was handed to them on a silver platter. The way that Fnatic just ran at them. Just look at this. It's just Razor running headfirst into Broken Blade. The hostile takeover, not the best. Oscarin's not in a position to engage or jump onto the backline. So G2 just get to free play this. A great polymorph out from the Lulu. Forces Humanoid to retreat, and then Hans is able to jump on him and execute him off. And Hans is free firing in basically in this position. No play for Fnatic to deny that. But here we go. Soul point on the table for Fnatic if this Drake is secured. Just keep your eyes on Oscarinin, who jumps in. He didn't burn his ulti in the last fight, and in the end it's Caps falling. A great Emperor's Divide catches off Mickey, and Fnatic are fighting back. They secure 2 kills and get themselves to soul point off this Drake. And with Caps and Mickey down, they're going to turn towards this Baron. G2 overstay this play, you have to feel. And that is huge for them if you're Fnatic. Now, Yike is in a position to try and steal. He can get in. So is Broken Blade. Prey Seeker thrown out, and into the pit he goes. It's only at 200 HP, but will the steal come through? No, it will not. Razor secures it, and Noah secures the first kill as G2 are crumbling. And Sama gets caught out and killed off. And G2, they lose 2 members for absolutely no reason. They could have actually only sent Yike in on a solo bowling mission, but we watch this again. Yike gets in, and he gets in quite easily, but it gets down to 1.3 before the smites come through. Yike smites early, and Fnatic secure the objective. Clean as you like. Hans getting caught out is just the bonus for Fnatic. And so, how do you lose from this position if you're Fnatic? Because the only thing they need to do is burst out Caps. Simple as you like. He is the powerful one on G2. The only one with a semblance of a gold lead. Fnatic haven't been able to stop him in his tracks, and he's playing such a heavy scaling pick as Humanoid gonna be ran down by the Sion, who just knocks him into the air. G2 coming in numbers as Cap secures the first kill of the fight. He kills off this Azir. No Emperor's Divide available, but Oscarinin, he's bouncing around, allowing Noah to get the kills. But now here comes Ham's Broken Blade shuts down Razor, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade as Noah gets the clap back. G2 stepping forward. Jun fires out a perfect hostile takeover. G2 will fall as 2 more go down to Fnatic. That's such a well executed play by Jun. That hostile takeover hits all 3, and G2 can't step into chokes. That's an issue. They've got no hard engage, remember. No Rakan, no Nautilus hooks. nothing. So they're having to just run into these chokes. And Fnatic, they punish well in chokeholds. Zach, great with the let's bounce. He can just do work in him. This is actually a real nice buster shot from Hansama. But he bounces back, and this right here. Straight line, hostile takeover. Boom. Hansama just hitting his team, killing them off. Noah and Oscarinin get the final blows. And they know how bad that fight was for Fnatic. Well, for G2, sorry. As Fnatic build up that gold lead even more. They look to secure another pick maybe onto Caps, who's chunked below 50%. G2 on the back foot. Fnatic have Baron still. No, they don't. It timed out. They didn't really get to use that Baron to push. So good work there by G2, I guess. But hey, we'll still get tier 2 on the top side. Fnatic, happy with that. Gonna reset. A minute out on this Ocean Drake. Soul for them if they can secure it. I think G2 may look to give this one up. Looking at how they're positioning. 2 on the top side. Caps and Broken Blade up there. They do have TPs on 3 members, so they can all come in at different angles and attack Fnatic. The issue is how. There's no deep vision for G2. Fnatic first to set up in the pit, and around it they've also secured for themselves the upgraded, the enhanced, the mutated Scuttle Crab. So that's in their favor. G2 now going to be stepping into the darkness. They're looking to ascertain mid control first. But how will they get into this bot side jungle? The engage comes through. Oscarinin jumps into the backside and already Broken Blade's down. It's 2 kills to nothing in favor of Fnatic. And here comes Humanoid sweeping Hansama into the rest of his team as Noah secures the triple. That's game if I've ever seen it. Razor gonna execute to this tower. Fnatic don't have a wave. That's the only good thing for G2 here. But that should still be Soul. As we watch this play again, it's just a clean execution from Oscarinin. Jumps straight onto the backside. Forces Yike's hand. But Broken Blade's isolated and he just gets executed off. Then on the backside, it's a great Empress Divide to kill off Hansama. And then Caps is just left on his lonesome to fall. G2 get wiped off the board. And Fnatic, they just find everything off the back of that one fight. So, let us just go back to a bit of comfort. Give me a second. Why is my head so far up, by the way? There. Oh. Anyway, back we go into the game. And I think you already know this game's over. Baron secure for Fnatic. Excuse me. Baron secure for Fnatic. G2 can't step up. They've got realistically low wave clear. Triss needs to be hitting the wave in order to clear it with the static shiv. Sion can push him away though. So Fnatic now gonna have to look to push for the game. But will G2 give him it? In the mid lane, Razork's already pushing in the wave. Trying to get around onto the backside of G2. This bot lane or top lane tier 3 being chunked away. These cannons doing work. And that's a good baby cage from G2, but it's not going to be enough as Oscarinian engages. Let's Bounce comes through as a hostile takeover does work. G2 are just falling as an Emperor's Divide divides G2 in half as Mickey somehow gets a trade back, but it's everyone dying. All of G2 down. Fnatic going to secure the first game as this best of 5 for the title against G2. First one in the books. Don't know what I've done there. But that is game 2. So. Give me a couple of minutes to sort something out because it's cold. So I'm talking all this time, not realizing that I'm muted, but essentially game 2, I think I should briefly explain everything again. Broken Blade fed a bit, but Yike Caps stepped up for the team against Humanoid Noah. This at ASOL's just nasty as a whole, but it's a lane swap meta, so G2 managed to get all 14 out of 15 plates compared to 6 of Fnatic. And the big thing is, obviously, mid Caps just stopped Humanoid from getting plates. Void Grubs this time went over to Fnatic, but I think G2 prefaced a bit more on the rest of the map. Namely, they got the Drakes and denied the Soul victory that Fnatic were going for last game. So, yeah. Yeah. Caps just went off in this game. And as a whole, yeah. He went on a mass murdering spree, didn't he? So that's game 2 in a nutshell. We've got game 3, game 4 on the docket. I think what we'll do is game 3 on GOL, and then we'll cover game 4 fully, because my body is just not in a good state right now to cover the full series. But don't worry. MSI will be back fighting through them all. Game 4. Game 3, sorry. This is another split pushing comp for G2 that has a bit more agency with this TF, who can obviously split or play for the team. I'm intrigued by the fact that we've got a Kalista Blitz, which is a phenomenal combination in setting up kills. The intriguing bit is Mickey only involved in 11 of the 12 kills for Handsummer, so one of them was just G2 probably catching out a member. Jun getting, this time, not the same impact as what he did in the first game on this Renata. And yeah, Fnatic running into Caps as Azir isn't working for him. The ASOL is doing work, however. I can't deny that. And yeah. It was good for Fnatic. It was close for most of the game until it wasn't. 21 minutes yet again. The switch points on the series. Last time it switched in favor of Fnatic. This time G2 took the advantage and went with it. And I think you've got to look at that mid diff. It's the damage the Azir can put down. I think that's the important thing. The big difference between ASOL and Azir is the constant harass that ASOL has with his beam is not as effective as a bit more long distance consistent poke the Azir has. Because bear in mind, this laser only goes so far. And yeah, it's a scaling laser. Still not as effective as, once again, Turret Plate City. It was 5 in the bot side for Fnatic, 5 in the top for G2. But the 1 plate in mid for G2 over the none for Fnatic kind of is a big difference of gold. It gave D0 a bit more of a lead. And I'm pretty sure if we look at the 21-minute mark, we're going to see a massive murder brawl in favor of G2. I'm pretty sure it will all go to this Kalista at 21 minutes. I lied, it goes to Caps and Broken Blade. All in this chokehold. Anyway, enough said about game number 4. You got a bit of champion theme going right now. Let's go game 5. Not game 3. Game 4, sorry, not game 5. Don't really want to look at game 5. Doesn't exist. So, let me mute it up. I need to go down there. into draft we go. So, already starting to see a common trend. Ori banned out leads me to believe that, what, we're going to see Asol, Azir. What's going to be the change here? Because clearly the Azir is more preferable. Volley comes through for Fnatic. G2, Zeri's up. Kallista's up. They're going to preface the Rek'Sai wouldn't be too bad. If they go for that, that's going to leave Zac. And maybe Zac. Azir. Zac with Azir isn't terrible, but G2 may go Zac themselves here. It's a weird one where you can go both sustain tanks and force. What would you force out of Fnatic? But it's Talia preface here for Caps. Wants to roam. He did this before against BDS. I think here you kind of have to go Azir, yeah. Azir, while not as mobile, has mobility compared to like Ahri. Now Fnatic. Well, Rek'Sai's a flex for G2. You'd kind of take the Zac here, I think, into G2. You then aren't revealing much, but you are kind of locking in your map. They're going to go Varus. Excuse me. So Varus comes through. G2, Zeri, Kallista are up and available. I don't see Hans as a Zeri player much, but maybe they go Naught. Jinx I do see in his pool. Jinx comes through. I think Naught needs to be banned. Rakan or Renata. I like that more from G2. Ban or Renata. Because ignore the top side, you don't really need to ban up there. Naught Renata. I'm looking at it. It may be a good Braum angle for Fnatic. A weirdly specific thing. So Renata comes through for G2 in the bans. Poppy. I can see Poppy coming through here actually as well. So Braum, Poppy, Naught. Fnatic banning top laners, so TF. They may ban the Zac. But they're kind of expecting Renata Rek'Sai in the jungle. Which is weird. Blitz gets banned out. I'm intrigued. Naught gets removed there. So what did G2 go for? I think you lock in your top hit and then counterpick support. But looking at support options, there isn't much. So Zac comes through. So G2 have their Zac Rek'Sai. The full sustain, we're not going to be killed top side. They can't necessarily go for the same 1v1 like or Sion plays that they go for. But yeah, I like this as a whole from G2 because they've got engage. They've got frontline. I like Rakan here. But I don't know, I wouldn't mind a Braum. All things considered, you want to be able to peel. put up the shield to deal with the Jinx rockets, you can concussive blow down the Talia or anyone jumping onto the backside. Varus, who goes lethal tempo, wouldn't necessarily lose too much with a Braum, but as a whole, I get why you go Rakan, to ensure you're engaged. But even then, you've got Azir who can slide and glide into the backside, Volibear who can run people down, Cassante who can run people down. You've got a strong front line without this Rakan. Having the Braum would have been just an even more like shore up of the backside. So G2 round out their draft with a Thresh. No waggy zany Lissandra or Zyra counter pick out from Mickey here. Realizes he doesn't need to, he just needs to play pick. And I can't blame him, because as a whole, Fnatic's comp wants to run at you, but having the ability to stop the run, kind of useful, all things considered. So, personally, I like the draft out from G2 more. I mean, yeah, sure, we know they win, but like, realistically speaking, it just looks so much better. And Fnatic are in a situation where their draft sucks, personally. So, onto the riff we go. That's an orange Zac. That's all I need to say about that. And here we go. Level 1 play possibly coming out from G2. Hail of Blades Varus. Now that's just leading me to believe Braum would have been better. Phase Rush on that Talia. Press the attack volley. G2 hunting. This is like that level 1 play everyone goes for. On a pick. G2 will be spotted on the invading. Sweeper's used already. Fnatic gonna get the ward. No, G2 gonna put the ward down behind Fnatic. Jun does have the sweeper. Now this is an awkward position. Zombie ward's procced. G2 are trying to split the map awkwardly. But Razor's got him behind. But Broken Blade's down here. This is like the level 1 play from game 1 by Fnatic. But this time it's happening to them. As Noah forced the flash. It's going to be just the flash burnt out there. Nothing else lost. But the repeat gank's a lot more potent when there's a Rek'Sai ready to dive in behind. Razork is on the repeat, but the TP is going to come through. And TP being used means that Broken Blade just goes top. And he could set up a freeze. Ooh. So yeah, this is just well worked by G2, and this is reminding me of a BDS series from last year, where it was against Team Heretics last year. Evie TP down to cover his bot side when the Sion was going for a play, and Adam just TP top. Said thanks, kid. Thanks for wasting your TP. Now you're gonna lose minions. And what do you know? Already we're starting to see the effects of a freeze. Because now Oscarinen's in an awkward situation where he's burnt TP. So he can't cover for this bot play. And Yike, the actual jungler, is going to go for a play. While Zac obviously not in a position to do so, and Noah could actually win this trade out. Did hit level 2, but first blood over to G2. Hansama gets paid, and this Jinx already starting to get going early as mid lane, Cabs jumped on. Just going to throw a rock back. There's something we haven't really talked about yet, is Razork, who has been counter jungling, same to Yike, but here, Cabs playing with fire. Gonna, oh, the Unraveled Earth, gonna go wide, and now he's in a situation where he's being ran down by Humanoid yet again. But Brokerblade, he's coming down. G2 looking to respond, but Razork, the tanky bear, will fall. Dive through, Brokerblade hits the tower, gets a secure, passive not used. G2 find another 2 kills. In response, though, Fnatic do kill off Caps. So, as it stands, Yike could go for a repeat gank. Humanoid, no flash. Bit too far forward. Watch the tunnel. Over the wall, the seismic shove forces Humanoid into a bad situation. He's just going to dive over the wall. But he's still being ran down. Brokenblade not in a position this time to cancel it. And in the end, it's looking like a knock up into the air and a seismic shove will not be the end of Humanoid's life until this elastic shing shot brings in Brokenblade. The Void Grub's going to help Razork get pulled back. But now Brokenblade, he's in the situation he doesn't want to be in. Ran down. Passive popped. Fnatic fight back and equal the kill line. 4-4. This is already a scrappy early game. So we look at how this one begins. It's the same sort of thing. Razork running away. He gets over the wall, obviously, to start it. But it's just really well worked by him to create distance to allow Razork to respond. Brokenblade comes in. He's looking to get the execution onto Humanoid. So he doesn't go for Razork with his bounce to peel 4 caps. But yeah, because he doesn't do that, it means he loses his mid laner. He also dies on top of it. But the response time coming out from Jundar as well, also a lot quicker than Mickey. So it meant that, as a whole, Fnatic just aren't able to... Well, G2 aren't able to respond to the play that they kind of caused. And sure, you may say Humanoid overstepped and he should have been punished. But it's just a poor execution of the play by G2. Now, the only good thing that's come out from this play is G2 are going to secure first Drake of the game. No traits on the other side of the map. I'm also looking at Cabs' positioning. It is starting to wrap up as top side solo bolo for this Cassante. We are starting to see an issue here of Brokenblade overstepping on these tankier picks. He has got TP. No, he don't. So he's got no way to get back to the top side quickly. Just looking, he is going straight back top. No cheeky lane swap out from G2 here. So Fnatic are going to have to respond to this. How are they going to get objectives back? As oh, the Weaver's Wall going to be thrown out here. G2 looking to chase down these 2 members of Fnatic. Flashing forward goes Mickey. It's a hook not going to be used. Instead, it's a seismic shot pulling back Razork to his demise. Getting excited is this Jinx as she's looking to run down this Varus. The hook lands, the cleanse is used. But Yikes in the backside jumping onto this Varus. He is down and out. G2 secured a double kill over to Hansama. And Fnatic, it's a bit of a bad situation to be in, because now they're going to lose out on the top side of Rift due to the fact that this is a proxy in Zac, and also the fact that Yikes now going to come. Never mind, Brokenblade's dead. Classic slingshot. Not even going to go for the full yeet. Gonna force the chase down. Waiting for the cue from this volley bear. Out it comes. Now he could possibly go for a play. To get a bit more health back. Let's bounce. He's staying alive. But he's going to inevitably fall. Down he goes. He could have honestly escaped that, but he doesn't. Instead, gives over a kill on the top side of the map. I'm also expecting Voidgrubs to be started, but G2 have not. Tunnel, though, coming in behind. Caps on the roam down. Preyseeker will not tag it, seems. So now the dive can come through. The TP, though, will dissuade G2. As Oscar in, forced to burn that summoner yet again. G2 keeping him punished. But could Fnatic punish them? Spotted them entering this brush. Tremor senses coming out from this Rek'Sai. Will spot the play. But now Oscar Innen's gone. G2 can look for the play. Bish, bash, bosh. A rampage for Hans Sama. As he kills off Noah yet again. On the other side of Rift, Fnatic will finally secure these Void Grubs. They've been sat around for quite some time. I thought they were just going to go stale. But G2 get themselves a couple of plates into this Jinx. As well as 4 kills. She should be close to that static shiv by now. Never mind, it's full completed Kraken Slayer. Going for the more crit based build rather than the wave clear. And that's kind of surprising into a Varus. I would have expected probably static shiv into lethality Varus. Just so you could kind of match the wave clear a little bit easier. But it said it's just going to be full attack speed, full crit coming out from Hans Sama this game. And into the lane swap he goes. Realizing he's fully ahead of his lane or position. He's just going to send it full top and keep back. Well, keep Cassante behind, who's already in a losing matchup. Now Broken Blade getting bouncy on this Varus, who's already in a bad state. Flashing forward, Broken Blade secures the kill. And this, let's be honest, this Zac was looking in dire straits, getting solo boloed by the Cassante. So the fact that he's just swapped down here, got himself his own solo bolo onto the ADC. Yeah, that's beneficial. That's beneficial all right for G2. And so we're kind of looking now, if you're Fnatic, for counterplays in this situation. But G2 aren't offering it. The objectives timings that G2 are playing around are kind of interesting here. Because they're looking to just continue to punish Noah. TP in behind. That's going to be Broken Blade coming in for the play. Elastic Slingshot. Yeet! Quickness used by the Rakan to try and get away, but Noah doesn't have that same liberty. He does have his summoners, but realizes he can't burst them or use them because he's just going to die. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Caps has fallen. Dive between towers from Fnatic to kind of stem some of the bleeding that's happening. G2 just are playing on another level. Now, obviously, they get a kill topside. The trade is another kill. And it's turret plates trading between the two, like, well, solo laner and an ADC. G2 trying to get hands further and further ahead. It's kind of the Cassante show for Fnatic. But the other thing is, this Drake's going to go over to Fnatic. In the G2 series against BDS, it was kind of G2 playing the objective game so much better than them. In the sense that on the side that had the objective, G2 made the delayed switch to and then punished. This series has been more so Fnatic getting the objectives, whereas G2 have kind of just been pushing for plates and trying to get hands further and further ahead. This game is weird because the lane started off normally, and then it was just G2 bullying the bot side with Broken Blade coming down to cause the initial first blood, and then all the rest of the kills onto Noah. 0 and 5 have just been Broken Blade either making an effective play, Yike making a play, or Hans Sama just outright bullying this Varus. And G2 have just been able to continue to push ahead and keep Fnatic behind. Already sitting on a 2k gold lead. 2 items up. Like, just that is enough to say how this game's going. It's a 3k gold lead. Needless to say, it's a full complete item versus components. Or 2 fully completed items. And Sama's just chilling. No more plates on the table. I see flashes forward to try and take some. But, yeah, that isn't an option. Meanwhile, topside, possibilities of a dive. Broken Blade, if he gets caught out here, will not overstay. He's jumped on, but that's just going to be the Rakan doing Rakan things. Trade will probably be top lane tier 1 for bot lane tier 1 that G2 already have secured. They're also pushing down onto this tier 2 as Casante's going to be hooked. Goes unstoppable, but the chase down from G2 looking to burn him out. Ignite use as Rek'Sai dives forward, but the all-out comes through, and that's a charm. That's a dead yike. Overstepping, allowing for Noah to get himself his first kill, and possibly a way back into this game. G2, could that be a throw? It's actually interesting. We haven't really talked about mid because it seemed close, but I've just looked at the kill scores. It's 8-9. Fnatic are still in this game. This Cassante is 3-0-1. They've got a Zit 3-2-1. Cap's kind of been kept quiet. 1-3 this game. It's just essentially Hans Sama is well ahead of his lane opponent. That it's really hard for Fnatic to kind of punish him. And because bear in mind, Mickey has a lantern, so he can just play bodyguard and just allow Hans to go aggressive as it's a catch out onto Yike yet again. This time the kill goes over to Jun, which isn't the most beneficial, but Fnatic will take it. They'll also take this bot lane tier 1. Herald dropped down here as well. They're looking for a crash. Bash. Wallop. Down it goes. They haven't got 6 Void Grubbies, but 3 do enough to create a lot of Void Mites. But G2 looking to respond. Mickey coming in on the side. He's looking to fillet in G2, but he oversteps his mark. The Elastic Slingshot not going to land. And in fact, it's going to put Broken Blade in a bad situation. He's forced to flash away. G2. Ooh, they're losing it a bit. Their inhib tower in the bot side taking damage from the Herald. And now, objectives going to be the call for both teams. It is Cloud Soul that they're playing for here. Not the most beneficial of souls. In fact, I think G2 probably going to give that one up. Look to play towards the Baron when it's spawned to 3 minutes. However, they could honestly contest this one. Just looking at summoners, Razork doesn't have his. BB doesn't have his flash. But the rest of the flashes up on the table. G2 probably going to look to try and catch out Noah again. That's kind of the play they've gone to. It's been their big one in game number 4. But will it be the most beneficial of maneuvers? As mid lane, it's going to be a catch out. Hook pulls Hans Sama to safety. Lantern, sorry, pulls him to safety. But Fnatic burst out the Jinx. Will mean that they get this objective and not get... They're kind of unfortunate not to kill off Hans there, but go away by Mickey. Flash out from Caps avoids the slide and glide. The Emperor's Divide will not work. Instead, it's on the backside. 3 members of Fnatic responding to G2's play. Lantern's there for Broken Blade if he wants to take it. But instead, G2 looking for the dive tier 2 falls, and Hansama gets excited. Caps gets the first kill of the fight as he kills off his counterpart. But now G2 looking to continue to push. They killed off the tier 2. The inhibitor tower next in their sights, but will not overstay. Instead, it's going to be them backing up, looking towards the mid lane as they see a low Oscar in. Now, obviously, they can look to push in for this tier 1 in mid. That'll open up some areas of the map that they've been struggling to get themselves some vision. But speaking of vision, it's quite a bit scattered around that mid lane for Fnatic. They're certainly looking to pick off Hansama if he stays there. They're also got a couple of wards into the river, but deep vision wise, there isn't much there for Fnatic. And G2 aren't able to sweep it out in that gold graph. Very yo-yo-y as a dive being set up here by Broken Blade. Looking to get onto Noah. The elastic slingshot will bring him very much into range of this Varus. But G2, they're standing on vision. They're gonna sweep it out. And now they can look for this tier 1 tower. Broken Blade standing on side. Ready to launch himself in as Yike playing bodyguard. Kind of not allowing any wraparound from the Fnatic jungle. Hook lands. Jun gonna be hooked up, rooted in place, forced to burn his locket to stay healthy. Because G2, that Jinx, that Rek'Sai, very strong Baron takers. Any kill at this stage of the game, G2 are going to turn towards that objective. Same story for Fnatic. They've got the Azir, they've got the Volley. Two very strong Baron takers in their own right. But G2, at this stage of the game, content. Happy with how it's going. They're slightly ahead in gold. 600 gold lead is the grand total. The bot lane gold lead is slowly still growing. 3.3 instead of the 3k a few minutes ago. Noah getting further and further behind. Kind of have to credit Hansama, who is building up presumably an IE on his third item. Hook gonna land, Jung gonna be caught out, and G2 are looking to press forward. Looking on the side, that's an Emperor's Divide. Gonna catch out Caps, you feel, as he falls. G2 looking to continue the fight, though, as Jun falls low, and so has Humanoid. This Jinx is getting excited, and the rocket party is happening. But it's gonna be Yike falling somehow, and Fnatic backing away, realizing they've got the win in this fight. They're not wanting to step into Hansama, who is just getting more and more rockets thrown down. Fnatic playing on the edges, but playing well on said edge. The issue is for them, is it too little too late? They haven't shut down Hansama yet, but this Emperor's Divide is perfect. Kill off Caps, you kill the AB damage. Now K'Sante can step up and just be a menace. He peels for his backline and just pulls Yike in for the death. Now the bulky boy just won't die to this Jinx because he's got himself a Sunfires, built himself a Warp Spell, and yeah, just so much armor in that kit already. Caden's online as well, so he isn't, if he gets hit by Caps, he isn't caring too much. But yeah, 4-0 and 2 K'Sante, we haven't really talked about because he is quite far ahead in his own right, but just doesn't provide the same sort of damage as this carry. As meanwhile, Noah caught out, G2 punishing, shut down. Somehow Noah had a bounty and he gets killed off. G2 pushing forward though as Broken Blade trapped in the back of the wall. The Emperor's Divide goes wide. The box was also thrown down so that Humanoid couldn't continue to chase. G2 get the ulti out of this Azir. They get the kill onto the ADC. The turnaround from Fnatic is quite minimal. So G2 turn to the Baron. They're going to force Fnatic into them. Hook lands onto K'Sante. And Zach goes into backline. Let's bounce as he all out goes through. G2 looking to turn in as Yike goes into the backside and they kill off the Azir. Next falls the volley bear. And G2, they found the fight. Into the backside goes Yike as once again Noah gets hooked. Jumped on. Shot up into the air. And G2 ace out Fnatic. And that's Baron on top of it. Low health bars on G2 to end it out, but this is how it all began. Noah isolated, left on his own. No one around to protect him. Then G2 get a bit greedy, I would say. Should realistically turn straight towards the Baron. But they go to it, force Fnatic into them. Then it's just Mickey able to land hook after hook. And G2 do get low off the Baron. But Broken Blade peels for the backside, gets onto them. Yike goes in as well. They isolate the Azir. And down he goes. Simple as that. G2 then just continued chasing. Yeah, Noah respawns into his own demise. That's all I need to say is he ran out the fountain to die. Baron now on G2 and the purple worm buff. Gonna allow them to push for this Drake. Emperor's Divide looking here for Humanoid. Trying to get onto the backside, but already Razork's down. That should be Drake if G2 want to go to it, but they're looking to continue to play. Rakan goes to the backside. There's a lovely Emperor's Divide comes out from Humanoid. He secures 2 kills over to his teammates, but it's still G2 fighting, brawling, continuing to be aggressive. The shutdown goes through, and somehow, some way, Fnatic have found their way back into this game. 3 kill members of Fnatic still alive into Yike. They're going to shut him down eventually as the ace comes through. Baron, no more. G2 lose their big purple worm buff. They're going to lose Soul Point. And Fnatic, what a comeback. And you have to look at Humanoid from this play. It's a perfect Emperor's Divide as G2 don't really find the targets. Sure, Raise Up falls to start it off. This Jinx is getting excited, but Zach's unable to find a re-engage. It's a massive 2-man Emperor's Divide onto the carries. The only one left up and available is Caps, who's then immediately targeted out by Oscarinin. Pulled out of the fight goes the Talir. And Cassante doing Cassante things shuts him down. It's a big isolation game from Fnatic. That Humanoid wins out because he gets up to the backline. Simple as you like from Fnatic. The crisp, clean team fighting that you would like and love to see going into MSI. Now, Weaver's wall thrown out. G2 being jumped on. That's the Hans Sammer shut down. G2 gonna be punished here as Hook lands. That's gonna be onto the backline. It's gonna be Humanoid falling. It's G2 on the backside somehow, some way. They're finding the backline of Fnatic, but the brawlers, the bruisers of G2 are hunting the bruisers of Fnatic. Zach gets onto this volley bear. And that's just going to be the shutdown. Yike going to secure that one as the continuation of the play can come through. Jun, the next target for G2, but he will not fall. Instead, it's Oscarinin trading back. Thresh is down. The big bruisers of G2 looking, hunting, sustaining through Fnatic. Jun, the only one without that sustain. Somehow he will get away, maybe. Never mind, the elastic slingshot will continue to keep him dead. G2 secure 4 kills out that fight of Fnatic. Overplay, baby! They win the last fight, but no protection for Noah as Broken Blade gets onto him. Then it's just the Azir to be focused down. Yike secures that one. It's just Bruiser City basically for G2. And they just kill off everyone. Simple as you like. Razork next fall. Down he goes. Yike gets that one. And he continues to look for Jun. The issue for G2 is obviously the threshold. But he's there to look for the picks. And him buying time for the rest of his team is certainly his goal. So G2 managed to kill off Jun in the end. Rocket almost hits. But good sidestep there by Drakan. Not going to fall to Hansama. And give another kill over to this Jinx who's already really fed. So I guess that's a well played maneuver there. Good sidestep. But Fnatic are now falling prey to the Weaver's Wall. Cabs is utilizing this spell very well as here. Maybe not so much. But he is looking for it as Jun falls to dash away. Hook gonna land. That's gonna be a little bit more damage down onto Oscarinin. Though it's really just tickling him. Fnatic now stepping forward onto Yike. Looking to kill off the jungler. Baron up in 30 seconds. So that would be a lovely pick if they do manage to get it. They will not in the end. Instead it's just poke and harass coming out from each team. They're wanting to find themselves some damage, some kills maybe onto the opposition. But with the Baron coming up soon, G2 step up into the river. 5 seconds until that objective. The other side of the rift though is going to be Cloud's. Oh, if Fnatic won it. That's up in 50 seconds. Varasolt's going to go wide. Emperor's Divide finds Broken Blade. They're going to burst out this Zac, but he's already doing his job. Let's Bounce, he's healing himself up. He's staying alive, the passive proc, but G2, they get onto the Cassante, and Jinx is getting excited. And Sam already found 3 kills, and he's looking for the 4th. He gets it, the Quadra on the board, and all that's left is Noah. Chased down and bullied throughout game number 4, and he looks to continue to be zapped and bullied, berated, and G2 gonna force him into the tower. The pentakill for Hansama in the grand finals yet again. It seems to be a common trend when G2 get here, and Hansama is always the benefactor, the second one in the series, and G2 unrelenting as they turn to the Baron and the Drake at the same time. Simultaneous taking of objectives as we watch this fight again. Fnatic think they found the pick onto Broken Blade, but this Sustain Boy just heals up with the Bloblets, and the passive buys so much time that G2 are just executing off the Cassante, a TP then to keep the Broken Blade alive, as the rest of his team, or more specifically Hansama, gets excited and bursts through everyone. The full team wipe for Hansama secures the Baron, as well as another Drake for G2. Like it or not, that was a well-executed play for G2. Who TP'd? I assume it was Caps. The only one with a TP. So yeah, Caps kept Broken Blade alive. Went in passive. So yeah, well played overall by G2. That gold lead that Fnatic did once have, no more. And now they're looking to push out. They're looking to continue to play the map. Something G2 did well in the earlier parts of this series is play for the map. They're certainly doing so now, as they're just going to secure bot lane tier 2. Hans freely able to kill this one off. He has himself GA as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 completed items. Full build on the Jinx compared to 3 items. It's a yikes. Bit of a diffy in the bot lane. 6k gold lead. Yikers. And that's with gold leads over to Humanoid and Cassante. G2, it's a bit of a weird one. A very weird one. That essentially, it's just the Hansama show. G2 funneled the gold into him. Oh god, funnel meta's back, isn't it? But yeah, looking at the map, some deep vision for Fnatic around the Baron. If G2 were to back away that way, there is a TP flank. Just looking for summoners. Cassante is here. Both have their TPs. So G2 could get jumped on. I'm looking at Caps. Obviously he has the Weaver's Wall to escape TP in his own right. But Fnatic aren't going to go for the play. Instead, just going to try and clear the waves. Skrinin brave enough to step up into Caps. But that may be an overstep. Getting hit by the seismic shove. The rock's being thrown down. Classic slingshot being charged by Broken Blade. G2 playing on two fronts. Continuing to Haas. Finally the wall gets dropped. And the pickoff could come through. Jun isolated. And looking to go in, he uses the charm, but Yike gonna peel him away from the rest of his team. Let's Mountain's used as humanoid, already taken quite low. G2 are looking, but they get traded 1-for-1. But in the end, everything comes up Hans Sama. A double kill over to this Jinx, who's just free firing freely into this tower. He doesn't care anymore. He's got to mid lane. The inhibitor is open. G2 could look to end here. The bot lane tier 3 falls. Hook goes wide from Mickey. It's 4 versus 2. Can Fnatic hold? Jun gonna be able to, but it's the ADC falling. Excuse me. It's the support down. G2 are ending the series in 4. And once again, your LEC champions are G2. Back to back to back to back champions of Europe. Who's gonna take their crown? I don't know, but it's a hard thing to do, especially against such a dominant team in the league. Thank you for joining me today. I know I've been a bit weird in my throat and my nose, so I'm going to round it out here. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new if you want to, and I'll see you guys for MSI predictions when that happens, as well as for some other videos I've got planned. So, see you guys then. Peace out.